premiership. Camped at the top of the ladder since round 8, their impressive win over Manly last week confirmed the Bulldogs are ready to take on anyone. Martin Bella bulldozes opposition forwards into submission. Dean Pay combines stinging defence with clever ball skills, and the dynamic Jason Smith has come of age this season. Fullback Matthew Ryan, safe under bombs and dangerous returning kicks. Centre Jared McCracken has been forced to miss this duel with ET, while Jim Dymock is the brains behind the operation. Live from Shark Park, Cronulla versus Canterbury. And here come the Sharks. Fullback Dave Watson, winger Eion Crossan, Andrew Ettingshausen and Jeff Bell in the centres. Paul Doolan on the other wing with Richard Barnett out injured. Mitch Healey at 5'8". Paul Green halfback. Dave Boughton lock forward. Andrew Hick and Dan Staines second rowers. Les Davidson, Andrew Neave and Danny Lee in the front row. And the rain pouring down now. It's coming and going. Big black clouds passing over the ground. Then the sun comes out. Let's hope there's more sun than rain. Canterbury, Matthew Ryan at fullback, Jason Williams on the wing, Darren Smith and Stephen Hughes in the centres, replacing McCracken. Daryl Halligan on the other wing. It's Jim Dymock at 5'8". Craig Polla-Mounter halfback, Jason Smith lock forward, Dean Pay and Simon Gillies in the second row, Martin Bella, Ben Gillies and Mark Brokenshire in the front row. Darren Britt, the man out of the front row, injured. English conditions as the match gets underway from the boot of Mitch Healey, and the opening encounter might just give us an indication of whether the Sharks are fired up for a big performance today. They really would have been thinking about it hard over the last couple of days. They know it's such an important game for them. First of all, they want to erase any memories of last week's performance. The defence will tell the story, whether there's some sting in it. Here's Dean Pay taking the ball forward and gets the offload away fairly easily. Gillies plays it. Ben Gillies now gets it out to Brokenshire. Experienced replacement. Polla-Mounter under a bit of pressure from Healey. Kick across field, didn't go very far forward, down to Crossan. Surrounded by Dymock, he's run around them. No, Gillies, who lost his footing momentarily, recovers to make the tackle.
This man here, the dummy half, Dave Watson, played most of his football, in fact all of his senior football in England. He'd be used to these conditions. I believe he could be a thorn in the side of the Canterbury-Bankstown side today if their chasers aren't right up and putting pressure on him.
Nice tackle by Polla-Mounter on Staines. Cronulla keep it going to the left-hand side, and it's Danny Lee making a few metres. Knocked over by Pay. Just inside the Canterbury half. Hick almost got his arms free. Slipped a couple of arms, but then they managed to surround him. Tangle him up. Green. Healey driving the kick through low on the bounce towards Ryan. And Ryan brings it back strongly. Broke through one tackle. He got rid of Jeff Bell.
There you go, both sides.
The for and against this season shows that Canterbury really dominating in attack. They've scored 396 points compared to Cronulla's 292. In defence, Canterbury better again, 228 against them, 275 conceded by Cronulla. So an indication there of why Canterbury are on top of the ladder on 26 points. Cronulla equals 7th on 18 points, 9 wins, 7 losses for the season. And they really can't afford to slip up or they'll be history. Dymock.
Warren, you've got a couple of options with these weather conditions. You can either, particularly Cronulla running into this wind, you can put the ball up high, or Green chose to drive it along the ground. That's not a bad tactic in the greasy conditions.
Johnny, you're saying that if you kick it low, it's going to skid, or that the ball's going to be wet. Why do you see that as a good option?
Well, I think if they drive it hard enough and low enough, I think they might get results with handling problems. But I wouldn't surrender it the way young Green did then. He just gave the Canterbury fullback an easy collect.
Now Lee takes it forward. He's knocked over by Brokenshire. Neave has quickly got into dummy half. Green gets it out to Hick. Well taken by Dymock. Jim Dymock, who's been playing so well in the 5'8" position, but Terry Lamb only a week or two away from coming back from the broken arm. Kick from Healey, a better one, down towards Williams. Hick chases him and goes low and makes a good tackle.
There he is, Barbar Lamb, shaving the goatee off. He'll be back, I believe, if not next weekend, certainly against Canberra down at Bruce Stadium. And what a guy to have come back into your team as you're running into the semi-finals. Terry Lamb, an absolute inspiration, an absolute institution at Canterbury-Bankstown. And that's a real weapon for Chris Anderson.
Now Bella charges back into the ruck. Crowd called for a knock-on, and the referee may have got the word from the touch judge, but now he's pulled it up. Martin Bella saying, what's the problem? Was it Bella lost it, or was there a knock-on here?
Well, it wasn't a knock-on, in fact. Ben Gillies didn't knock on. The crowd reacted, and then the touch judge reacted, and he was wrong. Don't listen to the crowd. Back yourself.
Here's Green up the blind side. Halligan came in to make the tackle. He left his wing. He made the tackle. Cronulla now only 15 metres out. The backs are deep. Green standing wide. Out it comes to him. Healey. Watson up in the line. Looks back inside. But the defence up on him.
A good pressure from the Canterbury-Bankstown up in the faces of the Cronulla back line. He'll have to do that with E.T. and Watson lurking out there.
And here's Lee, 18 metres out. In centre field. Neave has runners going both directions. He goes out to Boughton. The defence of Canterbury equal to the task so far. That was Ben Gillies and Smith. Neave shifts into the in goal. Halligan's there now. Can he get out? This will take some doing.
No chance of getting out. Daryl Halligan plays it safe. Goes over the dead ball line. A drop out from under the post for Canterbury-Bankstown. A nice little ploy and a nice little kick as well. Andrew Neave's got all the skills from dummy half. Touched by Simon Gillies. So Daryl Halligan had to play it that regardless, because it was touched by a Canterbury-Bankstown player, and he came up with the same result.
6 minutes gone and another drop out, John.
Yes, how Canterbury, whether this will be very, very important and could mean the difference between winning and losing.
Boughton knocked over 30 metres out. Again, strong tackle from Darren Smith, and he's in for another one. He's working hard in defence. Darren Smith in the centres, Jason Smith at lock forward. Dan Staines now inside the 20. Again, it's Smith in for another tackle. Green has Davidson behind him. Well tackled by Payne. Didn't really come back and look for the man in support. Now a penalty goes to Cronulla against Pay, raking it out. Right in front of the posts. They're going to take the 2 points. Now, was this lost or was it raked out in the attempt to make the play the ball by Green?
Well, there's the tackle by Green as he... Well...
Yes, it was knocked out by Pay, and that's a sin bin offence.
Crossan right in front. 64% success this season. This is an easy one for him. First points on the board, and it goes to the Sharks. 2-0 after 8 minutes of play.
And Warren, it's probably worth noting that the weather conditions have changed again fairly dramatically from when we did our opening piece. The rain stopped altogether, and with that the wind seems to have disappeared again. So what was a huge gusty wind at Canterbury's back at the start of the half has eased off a little bit.
Yes, I think we're going to experience these changing conditions right through the afternoon. Halligan thumps it down to Watson, taking it on the knees safely, and gives it to Davidson.
Well, it's quite evident that Cronulla have come out with the right attitude. A tremendous start. A couple of nice little kicks in the in-goal area, some good defence, some enterprising play. They part with 2 points, deservedly so.
There's Cronulla with 235 metres to Canterbury's 142, and Cronulla have had 70% of the ball in terms of time. So all they've got for that possession rate is 2 points. When they put the pressure on, Canterbury had to drop out twice. Canterbury's defence was holding on. Now Hick, straight up the middle he goes, but he's met by some stiff defence. Pay there, and also Brokenshire. Neave with the kick.
Warren, Hick was wrapped up well by Pay. I think it's pretty obvious Andrew Hick's an improved player. He's been popping balls out the back this season, and there's a good hit by E.T. on Matthew Ryan.
That was a great hit by Ettingshausen, but now Cronulla undo the good work up inside the 10 metres. Just when they'd, lifted themselves, put a bit right on Canterbury. Interesting too, when Neave put that kick down the blind side, it was Polla-Mounter who was deep behind his fullback on the wing, just dropping back for the kick with the winger up.
Interesting ploy, but what a great tackle. Another great tackle from Andrew Ettingshausen. He spoke last week. The Cronulla centre three-quarter line in particular were very vulnerable to the likes of Croker and Mullins and Meninga. But this afternoon with E.T. in the side, I doubt that whether Canterbury will get the same latitude. So
So here's Canterbury in the best attacking position they've seen for a while. Total tackles again indicating that possession rate. Canterbury forced to make twice as many tackles. Now the Bulldogs only 30 metres out. Polla-Mounter, Dymock straightens it up and tears straight through. Had Smith on his right, but he pivoted to the left. Now it's Polla-Mounter, away to Hughes. On now to Ryan. Ryan sets off the line, flicks it out in the direction he thought of Halligan, but Halligan was coming back inside. Fine attacking football by Canterbury, and a worrying sign there for Cronulla. The first time the Bulldogs have had the ball and the defence cracks.
Yeah, started by Jimmy Dymock, just a jink off his right foot. A great little ball in there to Polla-Mounter. He's got great strength, busts out of one tackle. Nice ball by Stephen Hughes. And Matthew Ryan, I thought Daryl Halligan would be staying on his right-hand side, but Daryl had different ideas, came inside, and the ball went astray.
Staines. Cronulla, so far, it's got to be said, unable to break the Canterbury defence. They're trying hard, they're throwing themselves at it, but so far unable to break it despite all the possession. Again, look at those tackles. Canterbury have had to make 81 tackles. Last tackle coming up. Penalty against Canterbury. Ben Gillies was holding him down a little too long, and again, it was the Cronulla players appealing to the referee for the penalty, and he reacted.
Well, there he is, Les Davidson, after a good ball by Andrew Neave. Ben Gillies a bit of a handful, and he retaliated. That was the reason for the penalty. Hands all over Les Davidson. So, Cronulla, everything going their way at this stage of the game. As I said, a long, long time since I've seen Daryl Halligan fail to find touch from a penalty kick.
Oh, Danny Lee's gone without it. Canterbury ball. Penalties are 2-all. And our count of the hit-up rate, 34 hit-ups by the Cronulla forwards, only 8 by Canterbury. Canterbury with the ball now inside their own 20, though. Bella. 2 points to 0 in favour of Cronulla after 18 minutes. And space found now, and away goes Dymock. Dymock stays on his feet. It's Halligan now. Up to the 30. Here comes Watson. Watson's got him again. Continuing on from last week, a great try-saver from Dave Watson, but it's still a chance. No, Halligan's lost it. Cronulla have got it. Well, what a bonus 6 that is for Dave Watson after the tackle.
Well, we saw him do it a number of times. There's Jimmy Dymock making a great break. Gives it to Daryl Halligan. Now Daryl pins his ears back. Thinks he might be able to get round his fellow Kiwi teammate, but no way in the world. Dave Watson and DJ Halligan just trying to slip an impossible ball out the back. Would have been better off hanging on to that one.
Interesting to see Geordie Peats on the field earlier this year when Jim Sedaris went to West. You would have thought that Peats would be the Canterbury hooker, but instead he was deposed by Ben Gillies, and then Jason Hetherington came in to take the hooking spot.
And the touch judge, good work from the touch judge. He saw that and he called the referee. Tremendous work by the touch judge. I think it's fair to say on Geordie Peats' behalf. We'll just have a look at this replay. There's big Les Davidson, big Bundy comes in. There's the ball getting knocked out. Now the referee was blinded by Les Davidson's body, and the touch judge did a good job.
Out comes to Smith. But there's a bit of a battle on for that hooking spot, and I don't know whether it's decided yet, though. When Hetherington comes back from injury, he may slot back in again.
Well, an update on the whole situation is that suspected medial ligament damage for Ben Gillies, so that may help sort out the problem.
We'll reduce the options for Chris Anderson.
Geordie Peats had some knee trouble at the start of the season as well. The reason I know that is because the day I got out of hospital with my operation, he was going in. So, to be fair to him, he hasn't had a great season as far as fitness goes.
Now, Jason Smith has Canterbury only 15 metres out as Polla-Mounter. Cronulla short on this side. Dymock pops it back inside, though. They were working for the set play. I don't know that the better option wasn't out wide. Smith and Williams were waiting. Jason Smith kicks it straight across field. Healey takes it. Oh, he's lost it. It's a giveaway try to Matthew Ryan. Simple as that. It wasn't a good kick from Jason Smith. And Healey seemed to panic a little as he reached for it. I suppose he didn't have time to have a look around and realise that Paul Doolan was there in a better position to take it. It did look like Healey had come down safely with it nevertheless. But the ball pops loose. Here it is. Healey and Doolan are both there, run into each other, and neither comes up with it, and Matthew Ryan says thank you very much.
Just a lack of communication here. Jason Smith kicking to the wings. I think that might have came off the side of his boot, actually. And just a mix-up in communication there. And as you said, Wine, an absolute gift to Matthew Ryan over in the corner. How often have you seen it, Johnny Peard? Here we see it again. Now see if this comes off the side of the boot. Yeah, it certainly does. That's not what he wanted, but it's paid dividends regardless. But how many times have you seen a side dominate field position, dominate possession, and not come up with a try, then in a lucky break the other team comes up with one? Here comes Daryl Halligan, moving in. Easy money for this bloke. Strikes it well. Oh, it's just getting boring, isn't it? Daryl Halligan once again, straight through the middle.
It's extraordinary, isn't it? He's kicked 82 out of 96 this season. Rarely misses. It's 6-2 to Canterbury.
Yes, I don't think he was too happy with that kick, Peter. Did come off the side. Should have been fielded, I think, quite comfortably. Gee, that's just a giveaway. And Canterbury, the good side they are, have taken advantage of it. And Deb the Dasher has some news.
Both fresh replacements are on the field now for Cronulla. Andrew Pearce is replacing Paul Boughton, and Robbie Kearns replacing Les Davidson.
But it is a situation, Peardy, we see so much, don't we, where a team dominates everything in the first 20 minutes, can't come up with the points, then bang, something really obscure happens, and the other side come up with a 4-pointer. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, well, Jack Gibson used to indicate that to us years and years ago. If you can sustain or if you can stop constant pressure on your try line, you can come away with the goods. I think players starting to believe, Peter, that after they've taken all that a team can give, they generally feel super confident that they can go on and put some points on the board, and that's what happened again today.
Canterbury with a backline wide here. Are they going to try for it this time? No. Polla-Mounter decides to kick down towards Watson, but there's a line of chasers racing downfield towards Watson. They don't want to give him any room. Polla-Mounter, the kicker, first man in to make the tackle, and then the supporters arrive.
Oh, come on. Did you get a call from the touch judge there? I wonder, because it certainly didn't look. It certainly didn't look like the tackle had been well and truly affected.
Penalties are 5-3 to Cronulla now.
There's Dave Watson. He's on the ground. The tackle's been affected. Well, very hard to tell from that angle. So I imagine the referee must have got a call from the touch judge on the far side. Here's a better angle. Now there's Jason Smith. He's got the hand on the football. Yeah, certainly did. Trying to be a little bit sneaky, Jason, then.
Sin bin.
I see, John. So you're calling for a sin bin anywhere, anytime?
Anywhere, anytime for that offence.
For raking the football?
Yes, that's disrupting a game, and the referees have got enough problems without worrying about those things.
Well, the easy solution, Peardy, would be instead of sin binning 10 and 12 players a game, would be to get rid of the rule in the first place. If you can't hang on to the ball, you don't deserve to have it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Most of it's done on the ground.
Oh, no, not a high tackle. The referee said it was just low enough there. And Darren Smith.
Most of it's affected on the ground, Peter, when the player's relaxed.
Healey kicks it in. Here comes Ettingshausen. Takes it on the toe. Great football. Here goes. Tremendous defence comes at him, though, from Smith. Magnificent football by Cronulla. They want the quick play the ball. It was Jason Smith who got to Ettingshausen. Watson, lovely ball from Neave. To Hick, to the corner. Andrew Hick, he's over. Fantastic piece of football by Cronulla. Sensational work by Mitch Healey and then by Andrew Ettingshausen to put them inside the Canterbury 20. They spun it wide. Canterbury had to be short of defenders. They had to come from everywhere to stop Ettingshausen. And it's 6 points all. Andrew Hick scoring wide out. But magnificent piece of football. All started by the tremendous chase. And then they swung it wide. Lovely ball here from Watson. Around she goes, slipped in between the two, popped it out, and Andrew Hick there burrows for the line, head down, pushing hard, and through he goes.
Here we see it again now. Dave Watson, he's the ball that he throws is the one that really comes up with the try. There it is. He sucks Stephen Hughes in. Just quick hands by Neave, and Hick burrows in. He's a big guy, and 2 or 3 metres out. Very hard to stop. Here, watch this from Andrew Ettingshausen. Not many players can come up with this sort of football. E.T., I thought he might have been offside a little bit then, but what about this for a kick? Unbelievable. That was good enough, but he cops it on the full, comes up with a big hit, gets up and plays the ball quickly. Fantastic play by Andrew Ettingshausen. What an inspiration he is to this Sharks side. And Cronulla always going to score on the left-hand side. Canterbury at 6s and 7s. Only 2 players against about 6. And as we see, Big Hick burrowing in right over on the left-hand side.
Now Crossan, difficult kick. Can he equal Halligan? He's going to give it a chance. It's a good-looking kick, just misses. So the score, 6 points all, 7 minutes till half-time.
This is E.T. He probably watched a fair bit of the World Cup in the soccer, and he's learnt the lessons well. But he does look, eyes on the ball, a good effort, despite a very heavy tackle by Smith. He's got up, battled his way, and that was a great pass by Watson. Watson's just such an experienced player. Here he is, sums it up. Stephen Hughes came in again.
And John, that was Jason Smith making the final tackle. He had just tackled Ettingshausen, so great effort by him. Another chance for Cronulla. Kearns. 6 points all. Hick.
He's deceptively strong, Dave Watson. There's not much of him to look at. In fact, even in the flesh, he's, I mean, he'd only be as big as Mitch Healey, but he's got a tremendous fend, great strength and great illusion.
Green spins it out to Healey. On it goes to Jeff Bell. And he's well tackled by Polla-Mounter. Copybook tackle. Green needs some more options. He tries the little kick. He's still after it. And Ryan couldn't get hold of it. Ryan committed to it. 6 more tackles to Cronulla. Canterbury don't have a fullback. Ryan hasn't moved. Neave looked like he got a bit of a high tackle. Kearns taken out on suspicion off the ball. Ryan's still in trouble. The referee lets it keep going. Watson fires it to Staines. Williams up on him. Now it's Healey. On it goes to Green. Green had a look at Pearce, decided to go himself.
Oh, they're scrambling the Bulldogs. You've got to scramble now.
Neave tries the field goal. Neave shovels it back now on the rebound. No signal of 6 more.
Now it's 6 more. No, knock on by Cronulla. It's a changeover. Now he stopped play. Matthew Ryan. If we can have a look at that Matthew Ryan incident again. Gee, I tell you what, he showed tremendous courage. One of the toughest things to do is to dive on the football in traffic. There's the little chip kick through by Green. Now in comes Matty Ryan. Oh, he's got one right in the head. Oh, that is painful. In fact, he's clutching his arm as well. So Paul Green, in no way at all to blame in this situation. He just tries to keep it on the toe. And watch Paul Green on, in fact, what happens, you won't see it on there, but Paul Green, to his credit, went back to Matthew Ryan and told the referee that he was in some trouble.
Now Jim Dymock is being called out. Dean Pay is the captain. Look at the problems for Matthew Ryan. That's a shame. He's having such a good season after joining Canterbury quite late.
This is starting to remind me of the Norths game that we came out here for last time. Norths got sort of hit with a run of injuries and just never got into their stride.
Now the penalty has gone to Cronulla. I'm not too sure what the incident was against Dymock. Might have been the tackle without the ball. Pretty good refereeing, I thought, by Stephen Clark too. He must have known that Matthew Ryan was in a lot of trouble, but he also knew that if he stopped the game, it was going to severely disadvantage Cronulla, and he let the set of 6 go. The trainer was with Ryan, and I'm sure the trainer would have told the referee if it had to be stopped. Crossan. It's waved away. Now that's 2 points gone begging. 2 points Cronulla would have loved to have to go in at halftime with a lead. Instead, they'll have to settle for a try each and a 6 points all scoreboard. Canterbury can thank their defence for that. They've had to soak up an almighty lot of defence, tackling, as Cronulla threw plenty at them. But Canterbury took their chances when they came, and at halftime, it's 6 points all. Competition time, and last week's correct answer was Jason Croker. Congratulations to Jack Comino from Everton Hills in Queensland, who won a Broncos supporters pack, and Lynn McGuinness from Penrith South in New South Wales. She chose a Manly supporters pack. This week, we've got a try from last week's game between Canberra and Cronulla. Who scored this try? There were plenty of them last week, but was it Jeff Bell, Paul Green or Andrew Neave scoring this one for the Sharks? The numbers will come up on your screen for Jeff Bell, Paul Green and Andrew Neave. Jeff Bell, ring 0055 60524. If you choose Paul Green, 60525. And for Andrew Neave, 0055 60526. The lines are open until midnight Thursday. You could win your choice of a supporters pack. And don't forget, when you ring, tell us your favourite team.
absolutely bucketing down here at Caltex Field. In fact, the rain's that heavy on the roof of the grandstand, you can hardly hear yourself think.
I couldn't hear myself think.
And Debbie Spillane and Johnny Peard are down on the sideline with what was said at half-time. Stay dry, I suppose.
Well, I think it's mainly sort of injury management in the Canterbury dressing room. You may have noticed already, Brett Dallas is on the wing. Jason Williams is going to be playing fullback. They've got a few other players with injury problems. They said expect plenty of replacements in the second half. Chris Anderson asked them to stop giving away penalties. He's very particular about that, and also to try and work on the kicking game. Obviously, the conditions are less than desirable. In fact, some of the players, the looks on their faces and some of the things they said when they came out of the dressing room, saw how the weather had deteriorated, was, well, I won't go into it. Pity.
Here's Cronulla looking good now.
Sorry, John, what's happened down there?
And just briefly, Warren, Johnny Lang doesn't expect Cronulla to have as much ball as the first half, so they're going to have to work just as hard this half. They're confident.
Green's hunting wide in centre field, and he's found Kearns. First try in the second half could be very important. Pearce charging for the posts. Andrew Pearce, only 20 years old, a young man. Already has plenty of credits on the board in representative football at junior level. Now Green trying to find the runner, but Bella was rounding him up. Crunching tackle from Bella and also Peats. Now it's Lee. What an extraordinary downpour during that half-time break, and just starting to lighten off now a little. Healey stabs through and well covered up, and you can see how wet it is as Smith slides back towards the in-goal area and ruled just to have stayed in the field of play, Darren Smith. Good place to keep them here, and that's what Cronulla have got in mind. 3 men in that tackle. Now Simon Gillies. Peats gets it out to Newton. Now it's Bella, and he's hit hard. That was a Dan Staines special. Turned him around. Polla-Mounter. Staines tried to put some pressure on him. Plenty of puddles near Watson as he brings it back to the halfway.
Well, incredible statistic coming up from half-time, Ryan. We look at the possession and time in attack. Cronulla have had the ball for 23 minutes and 15 seconds in the first half, as opposed to 12 minutes for Canterbury-Bankstown, so almost double the possession, and it's an incredible feat by the Doggies to only be 6-all. Look at the tackles. Cronulla 75 to Canterbury 152, so over double the amount of defensive work by the Canterbury pack, or by the Canterbury side. So for them to be down at 6, for them to be 6-all at half-time is an outstanding effort.
Crossan does well to come away from the touchline. Now he's in a bit of trouble, though, as they started to lift him and carry him. Healey. Hick. And it finds touch. That's about all.
Warren, I forgot to mention in the half-time report there, the news on Matthew Ryan doesn't look promising at all. Looks like a broken arm.
Well, that's bad luck for Matthew Ryan. He really has been an important part of this outfit. He returned after he was ready to play for Coffs Harbour this season, rejoined Canterbury after he had retired with stress fractures to the back a couple of seasons back.
And he was the stopgap fullback today, so they're really down on fullbacks in the club at the moment with Scott Wilson out as well.
He's really made a difference, Matthew Ryan, because after Gary Connolly wasn't able to return from England this season, Ryan proved to be a very important acquisition as either a fullback or a centre. Early in the year, they were trying the likes of Brett Dallas in the centres, and it really wasn't working for them. Here's Neave. He's away from a couple of tackles. Neave up towards halfway.
Dave Watson again showing great elusiveness in the wet conditions. As I said earlier, he's played all his football in England, and he's also played a fair bit in New Zealand. As you'd realise, the weather conditions are very much like this in both those places. And I remember playing against Dave Watson when I was playing for Australia. Hang on, we'll just wait to see what happens. Playing for Australia in 1989, and the weather conditions were worse than this at Auckland, and he could sidestep at right angles, even in the conditions. So tremendous balance and footwork. That ball went forward.
Yes, it did, and the referee, Stephen Clark, hesitated for a moment, then checking the angles, maybe getting a word from the touch judge, made the decision. The right decision.
See the ball going across. E.T. just slapping it on there, just touching it on, a la Michael Cronin, and certainly went forward.
Was made to look worse because the man losing the ball was going backwards, but I'm pretty sure the ref was right. Gillies. Just short of the halfway line. 6 points all, the half-time score. 5 minutes into the second half. Who is going to gain that psychologically very important break to go ahead with the first try of the second half? Pay. Tremendous effort by both teams so far. They've really thrown themselves into this game. Smith flicks it out the back to Dymock. Lovely pass to him. Dymock taken by Lee low.
It's great confidence in these conditions, isn't it? A little flick pass like that. Confidence in his backup players. They need a good chase on Watson here. He's always a danger.
Jesse read that well, Peter. He was on the left-hand side, or his right-hand side of the field. He's fluffed that one back.
Well, we're just talking about Canterbury has shown great confidence to pass. Watson showed too much confidence. Spilled loose as he tried an ambitious one, 10 metres out from his own line. The Bulldogs now. 5 tackles to go. Close to the post. Pay is not far away. Now they dive through from dummy half, and Smith has scored. Burrowing through, all coming from that error by Dave Watson, and Jason Smith has scored the try.
Well,
he likes going from close to the goal line, doesn't he?
What class this guy is. In the space of a couple of minutes. Now you see Dave Watson making the mistake. Just drifting across field, tries to get one around the corner here, shows good spade. There it is. Oh, just hit in a nice tackle by Stephen Hughes, which lodged the ball free, but in that situation, you probably shouldn't be trying to force passes like that. Now, there's Dean Pay. That was after a great pass by Jason Smith to put him in that half hole. Now, Jason Smith realises the Cronulla Sharks are scrambling. He throws a little dummy. He just gets over with his strength.
Andrew Hick and Andrew Neave tried to stop him, but they weren't able to. Hick just went a little wide, and Neave wasn't able to recover. Hick was marked. There really was no one in defence on the right-hand side of that play. The ball in close.
And he read that, Jason Smith. He's got tremendous vision. We'll see Daryl Halligan about to move in, and he'll throw this one over.
Makes no mistake. Well, I asked who would score the first try of the second half. It's Canterbury, and they lead 12 points to 6.
Yeah, Warren, we probably didn't think the try would come quite that early after your statement. But you just can't make errors in the cup football that we watch every week. Pay took it forward very, very well. And just momentum from Smith got him there. But there's a play the ball. Danny Lee was the tackler. He didn't have a chance to get up because Smith's play the ball was Pay's play the ball very quick.
Halligan will go to dummy half. Polla-Mounter. Polla-Mounter strong enough to break the tackle of Kearns. He doesn't go too much further.
He's a player that could cause some damage in these wet conditions because he's very strong and he keeps his legs pumping. And players that do that in wet conditions when they're greasy, their legs and their jerseys are greasy, are very hard to hold on to. So watch out for Craig Polla-Mounter making some inroads later on.
Bella.
They're a really good football side, Canterbury. At the break, Debbie and I both overheard the Canterbury players as they came out of the tunnel and saw the weather conditions. They used quite a few expletives. And I thought, I was looking into the players' psyche, and I thought that could work against them if they don't really look forward to going out there. But they got the job done so far.
Healey swinging it wide to Jeff Bell. And before the game, we saw the extraordinary situation where the Canterbury players were trying to get into the ground via one of the gates, and they weren't allowed in. It was fairly obvious that it was the Canterbury first-grade team, but the security man wasn't going to let them into the ground, and he kept them waiting there about 10 minutes, much to their disgust.
Well, Phil Gould reckons that they pull a bit more weight than Penrith because he said they tried coming in that gate a few weeks ago and they ended up getting sent round to another gate, so at least Canterbury eventually got them to back down.
Now, penalty goes to the Bulldogs, I should say to Cronulla. And it's against Jason Smith, standing offside, right near the referee. Referee Clark. He makes his stand early in a game that he wants 10 metres and he doesn't give way.
Well, just taking off, he was actually level with the referee. He just took off a little early then. A little bit of a hesitation in the play. The ball probably fooled him. The Canterbury-Bankstown can't afford to give away penalties like that, and that's what Chris Anderson said at half-time. Less penalties, and here come the Sharks.
Lee. Over the top comes Newton, underneath is Peats. Green, darting run, little step, got free. Pearce now. The back line deep for Cronulla. Watson's first receiver. Healey goes across field. Back inside to Bell. Pops it up nicely for Ettingshausen. Nice football by the back line. Running the angles. Good timing. Pearce, I should say it was Neave out to Watson now. The pass goes astray. He was looking for Green. Canterbury have got it back now. Ettinghausen's forced him back into the end goal. No, referee says play it.
How strong's ET's legs? He just pumps those legs.
Fine little run by Williams too to beat 2 or 3 there. Simon Gillies. Taken ball and all by Healey. Hick comes in as well. Bella. North Sydney, after their win over East last night, are on top of the table momentarily. Canterbury trying to knock them over once more and get back to the #1 spot with a win here. Dallas. Jason Smith. Little flat-footed. Players are going to struggle to time their runs in these heavier conditions. Dymock kicks high on the last. Watson takes it well. The chase again is very good from Canterbury, though. Hughes doesn't make the tackle. Newton dives, and Watson runs back into Hughes. Knocked out by Dymock. Bell. Crowd trying to lift this Cronulla side. They must win this game. If they lose this, it's going to be very hard to make the semi-finals. Not impossible, but very difficult because there's so much competition. 5 other teams all involved in the challenge for 5th with Cronulla. The top 4 look fairly safe at this moment, but the rest are hot in pursuit. The kick taken by Halligan, who read it well.
Nice chase by Paul Green. What is in Cronulla's advantage? And Williams goes for a great run through the centre. Very elusive, the Kiwi.
Hasn't he improved this year? He seems to have grown in confidence and is a much better player, not nearly as hesitant and prone to mistakes as he was early in the season.
I just think he's matured, Warren. I mean, I remember playing against Jason Williams when I was playing for North, and he scored 3 tries against us at Bear Park one day. That's when he was playing for South. And I thought, this player is an absolute sensation. Some of the tries he scored with his ins and aways, inconsistency was his problem, but he's certainly picked it up this year.
Stephen Hughes. Ettingshausen nails him. Last tackle coming up. They're only 30 metres out here, Canterbury. Up it goes from Dymock. Across field, though, somewhat. Gillies. Back to Newton. Last tackle still. Bella finds Williams. Chance out there. Polla-Mounter loses it, though. Dan Staines came zeroing in on Polla-Mounter and forced the error.
Knew he had to get rid of the ball quickly. Marty Bella kept it alive. There's the boot. There's Marty Bella, keeps it alive for Jason Williams. He sees that they're short on the left-hand side, but Craig Polla-Mounter needed to get some quick hands away.
Total tackles, 202 by Canterbury now. Cronulla 142. Healey slips away from a couple. No doubt about this Cronulla side. They're a better side at home. They've won 3 out of 9 away from Caltex Field. At home, 6 out of 7, but they've lost the ball here. Smith carries it away. Now it's Hughes. Hughes dragged to ground by Bell. Useful attacking position.
Sensible play by Stephen Hughes on that occasion. He could have forced the pass on the first tackle, but decided to take the tackle.
Steve Reardon trying to play the ball. The penalty goes against Cronulla.
Oh, that could be curtains for the Sharkies.
It was Jeff Bell, the man who was trying to complete the tackle, and he's gone on with it a little too much there. Pushes Reardon back over the ball. And who else would you want to have kicking for you? Halligan, straight between the posts. And Canterbury lead, 14 points to 6. 8-point difference now.
Well, the 8 points difference. There he is, Halligan's super boot. You wouldn't get many people in rugby league arguing with that, but that 8 points difference in these conditions It'll be very hard for the Sharkies to pull back. With about 17 minutes of play or 16 minutes of play remaining in this one, they'll have to hit back shortly.
Dan Staines has left the field. Dave Boughton back out there. Easy to see the players who have just taken the field. They're the rare players in clean jerseys.
I think one thing you can be sure of, Warren, the possession rate that Cronulla had in the first half could not be repeated in the second half. I think we indicated that at half-time, that Canterbury were going to have a lot more ball in the second half, and they've used it well.
If that's been not so much a failing of Cronulla, but it hasn't been a strength. They've had plenty of ball. They haven't been able to use it as well as I'm sure they would like. I mean, a top team has got to be able to create opportunities. They've been peppering away, but they haven't opened them up very often. That's a tribute to the Canterbury defence, admittedly.
Yes, certainly. I was going to wrap Canterbury. They're a good football side.
Watson's had plenty of work to do at fullback. 10 short of halfway. Kearns leads with the shoulder and the hip, but he can't break them. Good tackle by Reardon that time. Healey.
Just checked with the Canterbury bench about Jason Smith. Has a corked thigh.
Thanks, Debbie. Healey. He's tackled by Hughes. Didn't get too far away from him. Green quickly up to the blind side, but he slips over. A few players having trouble keeping their feet. Last tackle now. Healey pops a little one through Ettingshausen, coming for it. Williams has lost it on the ground. And Cronulla have got it, and they've got 6 more tackles. It's been a good ploy for them with Ettingshausen chasing those kicks. Led to a try in the first half. Here he is, E.T. They need some inspirational stuff from him. Probably their best attacking weapon along with Paul Green. Here is Green, inside to Boughton. 20 metres out. Davidson. Great defence by both teams throughout this match. Fantastic stuff by both sets of forwards. Green, the chip kick for Watson. Came off Bella, off Watson. Canterbury have got it, but the referee found a knock on both ways. And that is a handover because the first knock on made on the last tackle.
Well, we'll have a look at this one.
Let's have another look at this. It was pretty interesting, wasn't it?
Jason Williams going for a ducking run out of dummy half.
Brokenshire now. Smith. Again, you've got to take your hat off to the defence of Canterbury, haven't you? They've held out again.
They certainly have. And they had a hard game last week. The conditions have probably been in their favour. In fact, they've got ahead while the conditions have been fairly much atrocious. And that'll be a great hand in the end. It's very hard to score points, especially tries in this situation. Without field position, it's almost impossible.
Doolan allowing that one to bounce into touch, but it only picked up 15 metres, so very little was lost by him not going for it. And with these wet conditions, it's probably a smart decision. Chris Anderson, the low-key, down-to-earth coach, much admired by his players. Leading try scorer for the Canterbury club. Scored 117 tries in his career. Now penalty goes to Cronulla from a scrum which was screwing around. Differential penalty.
There it goes into the scrum screwing around. And I'm not quite sure on that rule. You're not allowed to break before the ball's out, and it looked to me like the ball was out.
Yes, the signal seemed to be that the lock broke prematurely. So another chance for Cronulla, who dearly need a try. Davidson throws himself at them, 15 metres out. 12 minutes of play remaining. Green. Kearns. Still 15 out, though. Neave. Green goes to the line, shops around. Can't get rid of it this time. Plenty of courage from the little fella. He doesn't mind taking a tackle if he has to. Neave's out of dummy half. 5 metres out. Needs a quick play the ball here. Watson a dummy half. The defence up quickly outside. Green with the kick through. It's too deep again. Third time they've kicked dead. And that's just in the second half.
Been costly for them this half, Warren, because in the first half they got plenty of restarts out of intelligent kicking, but just a little bit too much on this one. So it trickles over the dead ball line. That's the third time that's happened.
Yes, in the first half there were 3 dropouts forced by Canterbury. A few metres difference on those kicks in the second half. Pay. Canterbury still leading comfortably by 14 points to 6. They can't afford to give away any points, but while they maintain the 8-point advantage, they're on their way to a victory. Dymock. Cronulla are desperate. They want the ball. They need a try. Canterbury starting to bridge that gap we saw earlier in the match of possession and metres gained. Last tackle on the blind side is Polla-Mounter. He kicks straight down to Watson. As Watson brings it back, plenty of defence there, and Debbie Spillane's got Terry Lamb with her.
Yes, Warren, Terry, I notice you like to sing out and barrack a bit when you're on the sideline.
Oh, it's just getting the frustrations out not being out there, Dev.
How difficult is it in a game like this where the conditions keep changing so drastically, the wind and the wet weather?
Well, it's very hard for the players out there because all year I don't think we've had a wet game, so we're not used to controlling the ball in the wet, and like you said, it comes up and goes down. It's very nature day today.
You'd have to be impressed with the defensive effort, though, because Cronulla have had repeated sets at them.
Yeah, they didn't control the ball in that first half, and our defence is very good. In the second half, I think Cronulla's had a lot of the ball and lucky enough to get a couple of tries.
And he goes Paul Green over halfway. He's got Ettingshausen inside. Can he get it to him? Ettingshausen positions himself beautifully. Now it's Doolan. Doolan for the line. The last pass to Dave Boughton. What a magnificent pass from Doolan. It almost came to nothing. He looked as if he'd been stopped, but he's flicked a magnificent pass out to Dave Boughton. And what about the lead-up from Paul Green from Ettingshausen and finished off by Doolan and Boughton? That's the try Cronulla needed. They're back in this game again. Green up near halfway. A little in and away to beat the tackle of Pay, then away from Polla-Mounter. Inside was Ettingshausen trying to position himself. Halligan was trying to cut off the options on the other side. Doolan looked as if he'd be controlled here by the defence, but a lovely pass away to Boughton. You've got to have that back up, and Dave Boughton was there.
Yeah, he's always there. Green's been threatening to do this all afternoon. Running with the ball, 2 hands, throws the dummy, goes through a hole, just got around Craig Polla-Mounter. Now, he just couldn't suck Jason Williams in here. He couldn't suck Williams in to give the ball on the inside to E.T. E.T., I thought it had broken down, but just a great quick pass. And Eion Crossan's kicked the goal. So the Sharkies right back in this one.
14 points to 12 to Canterbury as Crossan landed that important goal. In the first half, he missed one that he should have put over.
Yeah, there's a late call. Neave went one way, heard the call from Green. And look, he just trapped a couple of players. There's too big a gap there in the defensive line. He did well to get round Polla-Mounter. Look at the shuffling here. Look at Williams. He did it well, Williams. He tried to give his defence a chance to get there. He didn't attack Green, but still, good skill got them out, and Doolan would have taken some satisfaction there, slipping that ball to Boughton. He's a former Canterbury player, Doolan.
Neave up the middle. The big men still splashing through the mud, legs getting heavy on both sides. Staines. And again, maybe that tackle count is worthy of note. Total tackles, 240 by Canterbury, 172 by Cronulla. That's a lot of hard work Canterbury have done. Over 75 minutes of football. Have they got the legs to finish it off? Have Cronulla got the legs to score a try? Green holds the ball out in front, tears through at them. He is a threat, Paul Green. Peats held him down a long time, no penalty. Last tackle, up it goes. Bringing down Snow, this time from Healey. Williams has missed it. Ettinghausen's there. It's gone back. It should be play on. No! Crossan has forced it, but the referee says it was knocked on. Big call. I don't know.
Excitement plus. I don't know either, Warren. I think I'm with you on this one. What a bomb, but it went absolutely miles in the air. It came down with the Qantas logo on it. That's how high it went. There it is. Jason Williams goes over his head. Now E.T.'s coming through. E.T., well, I don't know whether, yes, definitely not. Good decision by by the referee, and that was a try, by the way. If that wasn't a knock-on, that was a try. Eion Crossan did ground the ball before it went over the in-goal, touch in goal. So a big let-off for Canterbury-Bankstown, but a great decision by Stephen Clark.
So it's Canterbury trying to control the ball and play out time now. Still 4 minutes, though. Just looking, we've got to look right around at the clock here at Cronulla. It's 5 minutes, in fact, on that clock down in the corner. Last tackle coming up for Canterbury. Polla-Mounter almost lost it, recovered in time. The kick takes play 10 metres into the Cronulla half. It's Crossan. Dallas meets him with the tackle.
Well, what a nail-biting finish this will be. 4 minutes to go. Cronulla will throw everything at the Bulldogs.
Watson. Dave Watson. Now it's Green. Down on the halfway. Cronulla, the fans cheering as if their lives depend on it. Their football lives do for 94.
Will we see another bomb line?
Well, the last one was a superb bomb by Healey. No wonder Jason Williams lost it. It was up there for so long, nearly went to sleep. Boughton puts the kick through. Stones gives chase. Polla-Mounter should have it covered, though, and dives on it. He's going to touch, though.
Oh, that's a penalty. That's a second tackle by Dan Staines.
Now, watch the referee here. He's having a quick word with the touch judge. No, he's not going to give a penalty. Here it is on the replay.
I can't believe that. Now, Polla-Mounter's dead.
Oh,
he put his hand in the touch.
He put his hand in the touch.
Good decision by the touch judge. We only picked it up on the replay. Certainly it was a second tackle, but he'd already put his hand in the touch.
Polla-Mounter must have said a few words. Here it is again. The tackle not complete at that point. His hand just goes into touch, so that's a good decision. Doolan forcing the error by Polla-Mounter. Now he's been sent off. I don't know what's happened here. For a moment I thought he was just going to give him a warning for some sort of arguing with the referee.
Well, he's got to give a penalty now if he sent a player off.
Right in the corner, the penalty goes to Cronulla.
Do you go for the draw? Well, I obviously haven't now.
14 points to 12 to Canterbury. 3 minutes to go. Green. Healey. Healey goes wide. Ettingshausen can't get away from Smith. 15 metres out. Kearns charges at him. Tries to push them off. Cronulla spread across the field. Davidson waiting out wide, so too is Staines. Healey pops it up for nobody.
Offside.
Neave has gathered it in, but like you, I would have thought he was offside. Maybe it was a Canterbury hand in the way.
It's a great pressure. A great risk there by the Canterbury defence. They knew they had to rush up and put pressure. They've got real confidence in their defensive pattern, Canterbury-Bankstown. They rushed up on the defensive line and forced Cronulla-Sutherland to make a mistake. And that may have been their last throw of the dice.
Dymock. 14 points to 12 in favour of the Bulldogs. 2 minutes to go. And the word coming up to us is that Polla-Mounter was sent off for back-chatting. He must have given the referee a gobful if he got sent off.
Well, I just checked with the Canterbury bench, Warren, and they said they believe it was for back-chatting the touch judge rather than the referee.
Well, I mean...
After he got shoved into touch.
Oh.
Yeah, I think Polla-Mounter has been sent off for back-chatting before, just from memory.
He actually got sent off, he got sent 10 minutes in the sin bin for a late tackle and an 8-point try, and was sent off for back-chatting against North last year when North came back and beat them 18-17 after being down 17-0.
We'll hear more about that after the game. Dymock with the kick on the last, down to Watson. Now, Dave Watson, what have you got up your sleeve? Produce it now if you're a Shark. The Shark fans screaming. He's away. Dave Watson away. Up to halfway. Ettingshausen now. But the defence of Canterbury, as it has been all day, swarms all over them.
He's a handful, that Dave Watson, isn't he?
Played very, very well. Healey, back to Green. Still, there's Canterbury jerseys coming from everywhere, trying to shut them down. 1 minute to go. Canterbury lead by 2 points. Neave throws it out towards Watson. He looks wide. There's still plenty of defence up on Bell. He slips away from a couple. Canterbury still moving up well. But Cronulla looking for that one chink. Here goes the chase. It's Crossan coming through after the kick. Williams in his in-goal area. Crossan's got to get him there. Got to get him there. Corner post has gone, but that was Crossan, and Jason Williams has probably saved the game there.
Well, he has saved the game, Warren. Don't worry about that tremendous elusive run. Eion Crossan really came out. All he had to do was make a one-on-one tackle by Crossan, and he couldn't come up with the tackle.
I've got a question. The kick of Paul Green.
There's been a knock on. There's been a knock on. Cronulla will get one last throw of the dice. Unbelievable here as we go into the last. As we go into it's full time. They've got
I want to pack this scrum. Canterbury trying to slow it down. The referee says he's heard the signal, but he's going to pack this scrum. Well, this will be the last throw of the dice.
Absolutely. The doggies have won it.
Knocked on by Green at the base of the scrum, and it's all over. Well, what a game. An amazing game of football.
Well, what a last 10 minutes, Warren. Unbelievable. Craig Polla-Mounter sent from the field, not for 10 minutes, sent completely from the field for back chatting. Well, I can't remember that happening. Can you ever remember that happening? Oh, I can't remember it happening
no,
ever.
I have seen it happen, but I mean, it must have been an awful godful to be sent off.
Well, I mean, come on, Warren. What are they? I mean, are they men or what are they?
Well, I'm with you.
It's a game of rugby league. You don't get sent off.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Mouthful.
An exciting game, and goal kicking made the difference. 2 tries apiece. Hick and Boughton got the tries for the Sharks. Crossan kicking 2 from 4 for Canterbury. Ryan and Jason Smith got the tries. Halligan 3 from 3, and that was the victory for Canterbury. But really in the first half, when Cronulla had plenty of ball, they needed to score tries then.
Well, they did need to score tries and put the win down to that defence from the Canterbury-Bankstown side in the first 20 minutes. Cronulla, as you said, had double the possession in the first half, and Canterbury really, you know, their defence was outstanding. But once again, Daryl Halligan, 3 from 3, was the difference again today.
Few injury problems for Canterbury, but they're back on top of the ladder. Cronulla still on 18 points, still in the fight for the 5, but a lot of work to do now. Next week,